Welcome to Comics in the Making. My name is Ryan Holgerson. I'm the creator of Slackmatic, and I'm joined, as always, by Levi Erickson, the creator of The Big. Levi, how you doing, man?
Oh, doing great. I feel wonderful. I feel as good as you look.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I don't know if it's like the extremes of going from like 90-degree weather to coming into my house, which is it's not even that cold in here. It's like 73, 74 or something like that. But I was like, man, I'm put a sweatshirt on and be comfortable. Halfway through the show, I'm gonna be like, God, I'm so hot, and I'm gonna like rip this up.
All
Uh,
right. Well, let's get right to it then. I'm excited to talk about uh what we've chosen for our today's topic. It's it we might get a little controversial, but please understand that we are doing our best to first off understand it's a large umbrella and everyone fits underneath the umbrella. Comics art, right? And then the other part is we kind of make a distinction between a couple different paths or a couple of different focuses a lot of comic book artists or comic artists have. So with that in mind, let's talk about the puppy mill that is comic book commissions.
yeah. So I think we've been meaning to do an episode about this for a while, actually.
Yeah.
I know me and Levi have talked about it a few times. But what really got us talking about it today was there was a someone shared a post on Twitter or something like that of a screen grab of Jim Lee's commission prices. And on the high end of his prices, they go all the way up to like 35 grand for like an 11 by 17. I think where he's like recreating a cover or something like that. And then they go down to, I mean, I think the cheapest might be 9,000 or something like that. Don't quote me on that. It's easy to find the list on Twitter or the internet or whatever. Um, but I guess when it got shared, a lot of, I'm going to say, quote unquote, fans were complaining about the prices. Um, Now, within a day, plenty of comic artists have come to his defense. Um, and I'm gonna defend him too.
Yeah.
I you if if you're an artist of Jim Lee's caliber and that's what you want to charge for a commission, and you have people paying that for a commission, then charge that for a commission. I don't there's it's as easy as that. And here's the thing, if he's charging 35 grand for a commission and he's not getting any commissions, well then he knows I've got to lower the price of my commissions.
Right.
But I guarantee you he's not. I guarantee you he's selling those commissions.
Yeah.
Um, and I think there's a few things that we can talk about this, but uh, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that just most commission prices when non-artists, which I think is the vast majority of people who get commissions are non-artists. I could be wrong. I'm sure there's people on both sides, but I would still say that non-artists they usually get a little bit of sticker shock, especially if it's maybe their first time.
No, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and I've given people sticker shock, and we can talk about this a little bit, but you know, for years I would undervalue my art,
Yeah.
and I think that's very common in a new artist, someone who's just trying to get out there. Uh, trying to get their work seen, taking any
Right.
job, and they finally have somebody email them and, hey, can you do this? And you're like, sure. How about like $15 and a six-pack of Coke or something like that? And they're like, yeah. Well, I've at least gotten to the point now, and I'm going to say there are exceptions. I got friends or family, I'm going to give them the friend rate and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, when I get an email or something like that about doing a freelance job or whatever, I really look into how much time this is going to take me. How much do I really want to do it? Which I guarantee you I don't. Um, that doesn't mean don't reach out to me, but I'm just being perfectly honest. I don't like doing commissions
Well,
ever.
hold up. Let me jump in real quick here. So
Yeah,
let's take the term commission real quick and let's break that down so that everyone is on equal footing when we reference that term. So I think I think that you're talking about something different. I think what you're talking about leans more. It's still commit. You can still call it commission, but it's leaning more towards like a work for hire situation. You know what I
sure.
mean? And
Yeah,
in many cases, I mean, I might commission you to do a variant cover for my comic book, right?
right.
And that would be a work for hire situation. We would
Yeah.
negotiate a price and you'd bang it out and boom. And just for you viewers at home, I can't afford Ryan's page rate, so don't be looking for that variant cover anytime soon. But but so that's that side of it. You'd mentioned you know people contributing to other people's comics and that being sort of a running theme throughout the issues. That I don't see that as commissions in the sense that we're going to address later on in this episode.
Okay, sure.
The other side of the commission house, the one that I really have more of an opinion on, or more to say, is I go up to you as a fan and say, hey, will you draw the dad and daughter in a hot air balloon for me, for me to have and take home and say, hey, I got the Slackmatic guy, to draw his characters in a hot air balloon for, yeah, I'm gonna put it on my wall. I'm gonna put it on my refrigerator. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and so those are the commissions that I that's the sense of commissions that I would like to kind of address a little bit more in detail, and some of the things that are on my mind on that side of the aisle, so to speak, the artist alley of hell aisle.
Yeah. Well, and when we're talking about this, and we just had 3 episodes straight of talking about Heroes Con. Uh, but let's talk about conventions a little more.
Hmm.
And I understand, I get this. I do, but for a lot of cartoonists, that commission, especially, at a show, is a big source of income
Yeah.
for them. Um, and I get that. Uh, I personally have chosen uh to not walk that path.
Hmm.
I I
Say it. Just say it.
oh no. Well, we talked about this a little, like before we came on, and so
Yeah.
I'm gonna just use this example. I really think there are comic artists
Right.
and I think there are comic creators. I'm not saying one is better than the other. I consider myself a creator. I got into comics because I love the visual storytelling, the combination of words and pictures. But the big thing is the storytelling for
Hmm.
me. That's what excites me. That either, trying to tell an interesting tale, writing a joke, uh, writing a scary moment, and then being able to visualize that and do it all by myself. I don't need anybody else to help me with my creation. So that being said, I love to draw. I draw all the time. I draw anywhere from 20 to 40 hours a week, depending on the week. But it's I can't remember who to attribute it to. And so hey, leave it in the comments. It's a famous quote, but and it's about writing. I hate writing, but I love having written. Well,
Yeah.
that's how I feel about drawing. I hate drawing, but I love having drawn. Uh it's just and I know it might sound weird for someone who spends 20 to 40 hours a week drawing, but it's not like I don't have to do it. I'm not a Robert Crumb or a Jim Woodring who has just volumes and volumes of sketchbooks where it's a compulsion to
Yeah.
draw. Now, I do have a compulsion to create. I have to create. But for me, it's all about the storytelling. And, so when I was spending a lot of time focusing on the Mod Rats and the band, I barely drew. I drew I would do our concert posters, I would do our album artwork, I would do all of that, stickers, t-shirts, but that was it. And that really wasn't, a whole lot of content when compared to drawing a comic book.
Right.
And I was totally fine. I didn't miss it. I didn't miss it at all because my I was getting my creativity out there through music. I was getting my
Right.
storytelling out there through music. As that died down and I shifted back to comics, that's now comics is my storytelling medium. In the future, maybe I shift away from comics. Maybe I try and do a movie. Maybe I do some sort of narrative videos or something like that, and that's going to be my creative outlet. The point is, I don't live for drawing. And so when I do draw, I want to do it for me.
Hmm.
And I want to do exactly what I want to do.
Yeah.
And so the thought of getting a commission at a show and having to draw, Audrey and Dad and a hot air balloon for somebody uh is just sounds like torture to me. It just sounds horrible. And so if I were going to do it though, I would charge a good amount of money because I want it to be worth my time. I want it to be worth like, oh, I don't want to do this. So if I'm going to do it, I'm gonna get my worth out of it. Now
Yeah.
I'm not going to charge Jim Lee prices. I can't charge Jim Lee prices. Um, but I'm going to charge an amount of money because I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So that's where I've always landed on commissions. And I'll say this too. Look, I'm doing it the hard way. Uh, when I do a show, could I put out, hey, I'm doing commissions and
Hmm.
here's my commission rate and email me before the show and I'll do it and you can come to the show and you can pick it up and I'll already have it done and all that stuff. And that would add a lot of income to me.
Hmm.
Um, sure, I could do that, but I wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't be happy at all. And I guarantee you, it still wouldn't be an amount of money to where I'm like, oh, I'm making a living doing this. And
Right.
even if
Right.
I was, I wouldn't be happy. So I don't, and this is a very personal thing for me. If I'm going to do something uh, other than my job, like my job is for money. That's what
Yeah.
I do for money. The comics, although, it generates a little bit of money, more like break even money on my publishing and stuff like that. But I want to do it.
That's good. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. But I want to do it because I love it.
yeah, yeah,
And
100%. You know, like I got into comics and art. Or I got into art because I got into comics, right? I've
yeah,
got I still have the drawings, and I know that I was copying what I was seeing in some of the first comics that I bought. So like, oh, comics, I like comics, and I've said it before. I can't just like something and go, hey, look at that guy on a skateboard. That's pretty neat. I've got to go, look at that guy on the skateboard.
yeah,
I need a skateboard. Someone give me a skateboard, you know.
yeah,
Um, and I have to do it.
yeah. Same here.
When I got comics, I'm like, this is great. I'm blown away. Where's a pencil and paper? You know.
Yeah,
Um, and I've never really thought of myself, you know, as an artist, like, you know, we think like some of our peers are. We've got people who are freaking artists, you know, can grab any medium, any media, and just blow your mind with what they can do. Um, and in the early days with me, I thought I was going to be a penciler. So this is, you know, a pencil's all I needed, and fundamentals of storytelling, anatomy, and you know, I'm off to the races. And then I went to art school, and turned out I'm kind of color theory. I'm pretty good at it, you know, at least according to my grades. You know, and those different aspects. But I've almost never sat down and go, you know what, I'm gonna paint some shit. You know, I'm gonna get a canvas, and I'm gonna, you know, start paint. Yeah, I've never done that. I've never wanted to do that. Um, it's just not it's just not like you were talking about before, something that you need to get out of yourself. You know, it's not something that I need to get out of myself, you know, um, to dabble in different artistic endeavors. I mean, I want to make comics. I want to make my comic, and I can't let anything get in the way, because there's enough stuff in my way of me making my comics. Um, I got invaders. um, so so the idea of anything, I mean, there are times, you know, I'm in a band, and you know, we had rehearsal yesterday, and I'm just kind of like, shit, that's going to be 3 hours of my time that I'm not going to be able to be here. You know, I mean, it is what it is.
yeah,
I love being in the band, and I love doing all that stuff. Um, and when I'm in that situation, you know, my mind changes, and I'm really happy to be there, you know. So don't, if any of my bandmates are watching, don't worry about it. But 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 you know, if if my inbox had, you know, a half a dozen commission requests, nice problem to have. I mean, like you said, that's money. That's a big revenue source for creators and indie creators. But that's just stuff that would stress me out. It would be in my way. I'd be like, man, okay, great, I'll do that work, but I've got to put that work in, you know, to, you know, satisfy that commission and make them happy. And so when do I do my comic book, which is my priority? So,
yeah. Well, and when I want to look back at my career, I want to see my work. I don't want to see uh I don't want to see a bunch of pictures of Batman that I drew. Like give just two fucks about drawing anybody else's work. I want to draw my stuff. Um and so I guess, I just, for me, I think it's just it's two different worlds, and I think we kind of talked about this at about the conventions and stuff like that, especially these big mainstream conventions. There's just to be completely honest, there's just a lot of artists that I don't relate to at all.
mhm.
Like because that is their main focus, is like, let's get these commissions out there. Let's do these sketch covers. Let's do, and like, they're more concerned about getting that out there than selling their book. If they even have a book, some of them don't even have books, or maybe they've done one comic or something like that. And then like the rest is just uh commission work and stuff like that, you know. And
Mhm.
I'm not putting that down. I'm not like, if
Yeah.
that's you, that's fine. I just know I'm never gonna relate to that.
Right.
And that's not what I want. And again, my path, Levi's path, that's and I'm not saying this is more admirable. I'm just saying that's the hard way. We're doing it the hard way because there is like the comic lab guys talk about your career, your income being a table, and how many legs do you have under that table. And one leg might be Patreon, one leg might be internet sales, one leg might be commissions. We have one less leg under that table because we're not doing that kind of work. And I get that, but for me, that's a line I am totally willing to draw. Um, because I want to enjoy myself, you know.
Mhm.
Now, I want to say this though, going back to the Jim Lee pricing and stuff like that. For anybody listening that thinks that these prices are exorbitant amounts and stuff like that. Also, let's think about what that's saying to the value of comic book art as a whole. If Jim Lee
Mhm.
were a fine artist,
Right.
if Jim was a painter or whatever, and he was charging these prices, I don't think anybody would bat an eye. So are we only batting an eye because he's a comic book artist? And let's keep in mind, he's not just Jim Lee has reached a level in comic book art uh, that should be charging those prices. This is a guy who has the number one selling book of all time. Lots of caveats there, but
Mhm.
hey, he's still got it, and
The
it's
thing.
probably never
That's the
going to be
thing.
beaten. And that's only comic books. Like, it's been beaten when we talk about manga and stuff like that. Uh, but that's he has that. Um, he was part of putting Image Comics together, really revolutionizing and rejuvenating indie comics in the 90s. And that might sound silly coming from here this guy's a CCO of DC.
Yeah.
He's working for a big corporate conglomerate. But I can tell you, for me as an indie comic artist, Jim Lee's not there, Rob Liefeld's not there, Todd McFarlane's not there. I'm not where I'm at today. What he did, the impact on comics, that led to where I am today.
Yeah.
Image Comics led to me finding indie comics. It led me to finding uh Cerebus and Bone and Hate. Uh like that's what got me there. So he's done that. And then, like I just said, he's chief creative officer of DC. Love it or hate it.
Yep.
Super busy guy. So there's no reason he can't command those prices.
Well,
Let's just not talk about Jim Lee, though. Let's talk about other artists and their commission prices.
yeah, because
I guarantee you, some of those prices, even though they seem high to you, they're probably not high enough for what that artist is doing. They're probably not.
right, and also consider the fact that there are artists that we know of, and we enjoy their work, and they don't seem to be doing a lot of commission work out there, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes I think those prices are by design, in the sense that I read that as like, I don't really want to do commissions.
Yeah.
I'm worth this. I don't really want to do them because, you know, I think there's a cohort of artists, at several different levels, who are are the same mindset. They want to make their stories. They want to create their stories. They don't want to get bogged down with all this extraneous stuff going, that's on the periphery. Um, revenue wise, they're doing fine. And just like I said, I get a feel that some of these people don't want stuff getting in the way of creating their comics. So that pricing has another purpose to it, is like, yeah, my price is here because that'll mitigate my inbox being flooded, you know.
Yeah. To be fair, that's not Jim Lee's problem.
No, it's not. No, it's not his
He
problem
hasn't done
whatsoever.
comics in a long time.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, I don't know what a CCO has to do,
Oh, I'm
on a
sure,
day
I'm
to
sure,
day.
I'm sure he's
You know,
incredibly busy.
there's probably a lot of Peloton time and
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I mean, say, hey, any CCOs, put it on the comments. What's your day to day like? Come on the show. Let's do a day in the life.
Yeah.
Jim
Right.
Lee, let's do a day in the life.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's 200
Um,
people that want to know.
yeah. So I don't have anything else to say about commissions. I can't think
Yeah,
I think I spoke my piece. Um, that's how I feel. Let's unless you've got anything else to say, Levi. I've got a few updates
yeah.
uh
Go ahead.
in kind of art world that we can talk about. Uh One real quick, and it's going to be quick because there's nothing going on. Uh we like 3 episodes ago we talked about the new social media platform called Sarah, Era. We don't know how
Yeah,
it's said.
I
Um
think the C is silent. I'm still
yeah,
unconvinced. Um,
Aura.
much like
Um
much like the app, the C is
yeah,
silent.
it is silent. I so when we talked about it, I'd first gone on there. I had said I had little or no interaction on there, which you know what? It's whatever. Look, just because you post on a social media platform doesn't mean you deserve interaction.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I'm not complaining about that. But when I went on there and I was going through the feed in that first weekend or whatever, I was seeing posts with up to almost 10,000 likes, thousands of likes. Just oh man, oh this is the best. Look at all the likes. Oh, there's so many people. I've gone on there 2 or 3 times this week. Just and I don't even think I posted anything. Uh, just to kind of see what my feed looked like. I did not see a post over uh 300 likes. They're all 100, 200, 150. Um
Sadly.
and so I mean, I hate to say I told you so, but you know what? I don't. I told you so. This this isn't
I'll
look,
rerun the
this
clip when you originally said it.
yeah, this isn't it, guys. And on further reflection, I was actually talking to my daughter about this. Um, when we see a new social media platform, quote unquote, hit, it's usually because it adds something that we didn't have before.
Right,
When Facebook took over MySpace, it had this feed. We didn't have that before.
right.
When Twitter came in, it was all about these quick thoughts, 140 characters. What are you thinking about? We didn't have that before. When Instagram came in, it was all about pictures. And that was the focus. We didn't have that before.
And don't forget about
And then
Vine,
we
man.
and then we got Vine,
Don't forget about
which
Vine.
which really,
That was
that was the
peak
precursor to TikTok.
TikTok. Vine was peak internet,
Yeah.
in my opinion. R.I.P. Vine.
I never messed with it too much, but I saw a lot of people upset when it went away. But TikTok is Vine. That's what took over. What is TikTok? TikTok is video. And now that's what everybody is chasing. Instagram
Yeah.
Reels, Twitter, all of them, they want this. So it added something that we did not have before, even if it was just a focus. I mean, you could post pictures on Facebook, but it wasn't the focus per se. Instagram was the focus for pictures. TikTok is the focus of video.
Yeah.
So when we see these clones coming out and they're not working, like Blue Sky and Mastodon for Twitter, Threads for Twitter, uh, Kara for Instagram, Reels for TikTok, and they're not hitting. It might that's why we haven't
Mhm.
gotten that new thing. I don't know what the new thing's going to be. I honestly, I hope it's not a social media platform. I hope it's something different. Um, Honestly, me personally, I just set it up this morning. I'm going to be messing around with it. I'm going to be starting a Substack.
Hmm.
And I'm going to start working on Substack because Substack is mainly it's at its core, it's a email newsletter.
Right.
And we're going back to the early 2000s now with email newsletters.
Yep. Yep.
But I'm gonna go back, try that out and see how that works. It's not as gonna be, it's not gonna fall as much of a victim to algorithms and stuff like that when you're sending an email to that person. So, but anyway, that was an update on Kara. I, I I don't see the point in getting on it. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm wrong. Hey, maybe in a few weeks, all of a sudden, it's going to be uh, the best thing ever.
Well,
But
I
I doubt it.
understand. I understand. We all want to protect our art. We want to protect our stuff. We don't want it mined, in any way, shape, or form. But I mean, this is the world we live in now. You walk on the street, there's no expectation of privacy. You're filmed from every direction as you're running your errands. And
I mean,
you know, I mean, I'm not saying just duck your head down and walk, be compliant as you walk into the slaughterhouse or whatever.
I
But
mean, here's the thing.
you know,
I know we talk about, we don't want our artwork on Meta because they're scraping it for the AI.
yeah,
Uh, all this stuff. Man, I hate to tell you, if your work's at all on the internet, it's going to get scraped for the AI.
yeah,
It's going to happen until any kind of laws or anything get passed to regulate this very new technology. Um, it's going to happen. And I know it sucks to say, well, it is what it is, and I hate that.
yeah.
But I'll be honest. I'm going to continue to post, and if it scrapes my artwork, uh, I mean, I'm not happy about it. I don't want it, but I also I just don't see that. I just I think it's a pretty small chance that the AI is going to come out and all of a sudden start releasing Slackmatic comics.
Right,
Um,
right.
and I'm going to challenge it. I look, here's what artists need to do. We need to be challenging this stuff. Do you really think an AI is going to write a better story than you? Is that what you're afraid of? Fucking show it. There's no way you're going to write a better story than me.
And do
We
you think
this
consumers are gonna go, oh wow, it's the first completely AI created comic book. I can't wait to line up for the
yeah,
release. I'm
just
gonna get every variant cover of it. I mean, someone will do it, someone will buy that shit, but no one will, like in any meaningful way.
it's going to be any of that stuff's going to be I think it's going to be a flash in the pan. It's going to be a fad. Oh, check out this completely AI created thing.
Or that
You know,
stuff is for people who can't do what we do and what a lot of you do out
see,
there.
well, that's
They're the ones that are going to go, oh, cool, I put this thing together, and they're going to try to legitimize themselves and say they're on equal footing. as people like us and all the way up to Jim Lee, and in mass we're going to reject that.
Well, and that's but
No.
that's what I'm saying though
Let the Pepsi commercials be made by
is
AI. I don't give a fuck. Let Pepsi commercials be made by AI. Let their advertising, let Nike advertising billboards be made by AI. I don't give a fuck. But those of us who are creating and making and writing the stories and making the drawings, um, the market will not choose the AI product versus you.
well, that's what I'm saying though, and I think this goes back to our commission talk. There's a creator and there's an artist. And look, I don't think the AI is going to be able to do what I do. I could be wrong. But as a creator, as a creative person, us and the artists, we need to we need to step up our game then.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get more creative. Let's look at history when photography came into being and there was no need for portrait artists anymore. What
Right.
did the artists do? We got cubism, we got surrealism.
Yep.
Okay. Now we have AI scraping this and doing this shit. So, what are we going to do creatively to combat that? Are we going to cry about it and take our shit off the internet and go to a platform that nobody's on?
I mean,
No,
that's
we need
that's
to.
that's a terrible way to fight it. Like erase yourself, make yourself invisible is a dumb tactic to combat this. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? What it comes down to is if you want to fight that shit, then make more comics.
yeah,
I think someone said that one time somewhere. Make
yeah,
more comics. That's how you fight it.
yeah,
Do not become less visible on an app no one's using.
yeah.
And if bits and pieces get scraped, so be it. You keep making more comics.
And what would be and I'm not, look, I'm not advocating for AI, and I know we're running out of time, but what would be the difference if you put artwork out there and a new up and coming cartoonist saw your style, saw what you were doing, and they totally aped you and they did it?
Dude, that happens all the
And
time. Rob
and it
Liefeld
does
talks about
happen
it on
all
his most
it
recent
does
episode.
it does happen all the time. And I'm not just talking about swipes, I mean, you could go down this long fucking path of what this could mean that we don't have time
Artists
for
were
it.
developed in the 90s. Go back to Image Comics. They
Yeah.
were developed. The studios
So,
developed dudes.
but
Can you draw like
as
Silvestri? You're coming to Top Cow. Can you draw like Jim
yeah,
Lee? You're going over to fucking Homage
Wildstorm.
Studios, Wildstorm.
Yeah,
So on and so on and so on. It's a tale as old as time. You want to
right.
throw it back to you so we can get out of here.
Yeah, no, just go do the damn thing. Beat the AI. Go do it.
That's
All
how you
right.
beat it. Do the damn thing.
All right.